Got it. All right, great. I never know when it's actually live because the webpage doesn't say that I'm live yet, but we'll consider it live. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining another episode of the OpenJS Foundation's Cross Project Council meeting. Today is the 11th of October in 2022. And I'm going to drop this recording link into the why does it do that? Sometimes it doesn't let me paste into Google Docs, which is just really weird. I will add that later. I'm going to drop the link in here for folks in the chat, so please make sure you're marked as present. And if you can help take notes, that would be great. To get things started, do we have any announcements?
We have a program committee meeting on Thursday. It's kind of a special one. If that's something you're interested in, you're welcome to join. It is 8 a.m. Pacific. I'll make sure it's on the public calendar as well, but some of our old folks have been on there, not old literally, but anyhow, we'll be talking about 2023 and also an event that we're working on programming for in December, the FinTech event we're working on with Finos.
Great. Anything else? Announcement wise, anything related to the board to share or talk about?
No, I think our board meetings are usually the third Friday. We're going to probably consolidate our October meeting into November because we'll be meeting at the member summit in California the first week of November. So we'll be working on consolidating that. We'll be doing some long-term planning there. So if you have anything big that you'd like the board to tackle, we have some great board folks on the call, so we can be doing some more also budget planning for 2023.
Great, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So let's jump into the meeting here and or the agenda. I mean, the first item on the list here is clarify voting process. This is issue 923. We're using this to kind of drop things into this list of things that could be improved in terms of the voting stuff. You know, one thing I've already talked to Luke about is maybe helping me work through some of this and documenting things better and just have it feel like a process that you know, we won't trip over or anything like that. So Toby, get your hand up.
Should we give context about who that person is?
Oh, I forgot that was in a previous part of this meeting. Yeah, just talking to a friend. Talk more about that next week, I guess. So great. Yeah, hopefully I can make some progress on this sometime. And if anybody ever wants to jump in and try to clarify any of this stuff, feel free to open a PR and help us, you know.
I think we'd also talk not only just the process and getting the timing right, but do we have the right kind of governance and representation? Like, you know, the way it was initially set up 3 years ago. Should every at-large project have a rep? You know, so just thinking a little bit more holistically about it because it was a little confusing, I think, when it was initially set up.
Yeah, it's an interesting point.
We've also collapsed those two categories, the growth and the at-large. So we never really changed the governance to go with that.
Yeah, if anybody has any thoughts on that and wants to propose something in an issue or a PR, I'm certainly curious. But I wouldn't mind fleshing out like the process stuff too, the two important things. Cool. Anything else on that topic? I will say no news yet. Next up is oh, is that me? I'm kind of echoing. I'm looking at the list here because I think we have a couple that are sort of related, the contributor covenants. So I'm going to just kind of move this one up here. I was hoping actually to steal some time today excuse me, and land this contributor covenants PR. I'm going to open it up here. This is PR 851. It's been open for a while, March 29th. And I think the agreement is to land it, matching the contributor covenants, and then have a process to overlay any changes or updates or tweaks to it, so that we can have a consistent process in keeping up to date on the contributor covenants, but also having our changes on top of that. But I haven't done anything on it yet, so I don't know if anyone else has or has any thoughts about this. I will add no news yet, and the same for the one after it, which is the patching script for the code of conduct modifications. That's issue 910. I don't know if anyone has any comments about that either. Consider them.
What do we think about banging all these out and like either a working group or the second half of this session, or just seeing how many we can get through in an hour?
Say that again. How many?
Sorry, what if we use the next working session, or I don't know, one of these meetings to get through these, like just get, because I understand that that there's like stuff outstanding and it might be helpful to get folks all in a room.
Yeah, I proposed that for this contributor covenant stuff a while ago, and it was suggested, and I think it's not a bad suggestion, that it's sort of like somebody just needs to do it. It's not, it's not like we all get together.
What if someone does it and we all stare at them?
Yeah. So if somebody wants to skip the working meeting and have their own working meeting and do it, that's an option. I think the main blocker here is just, and I'm not super awesome with Git, but I just wanted to research more how you apply these sorts of patches on some sort of upstream. So if anyone's good at that and they want to figure it out, or at least have a first stab, that would be great. That's kind of, I think, what's really blocking us on these two issues, which is tough because they've been around for a long time. Toby?
I think Sarah has a point though, which is that there was a bunch of stuff and pull requests, and I'm like, I have the oldest of all of those open pull requests or issues, so I am not throwing stones at people here. But there's a bunch of stuff that actually doesn't take a lot of time, that is like 95% there, and it might make sense to just sit together at some point and actually do that stuff. And the other thing we could do at the same time is actually go through all of the open issues that we have, because we can probably remove like half of those that are like no longer valid or have been done, or like we no longer care about. And it would be kind of nice at some point to actually do that, or just call like bankruptcy on a bunch of those. I don't know, just do something about it.
Yeah, I like your idea. So if I understand correctly,
especially the last bit, right?
Yeah. We would all sit in a room together, but we would do maybe different things, but also talk like, oh, here's an issue. Does anybody have any comments on this? And we can close it. And I might be researching a patching script, and Toby might work on his PR. We'll just have an ad hoc hang out in a room together, gets work done kind of thing.
Yeah, I can come up with a system to share board slides. I've surreptitiously just like not created an issue for that, so no one knows it's still pending.
Okay, we want to do that next time. That sounds fine to me. And we can work on the funding stuff as well at some point soon.
Well, we should just decide which one we do first and actually allocate like sessions, and not just say that we're going to do random stuff, because then like the things end up empty and we don't know, and people don't show up, and it's not very good.
I think people's calendars are more blocked for CPC. I think the working sessions, people tend to schedule over those.
I was going to ask about that. I think the CPC meetings, I'm going to see who's kind enough to be sending out a meeting invitation.
I can do it if you need it. And the rule is the working session is always the same time the week after the proper meeting. So next week, this time is the working session, if that's helpful.
Yeah. That's helpful. I'm going to put that on my calendar now.
Yeah.
I mean,
if
the
it's not
rule-
on our public calendar, I don't know if, are the working sessions not on our public calendar? I thought they were, but you should just
they
be able
are.
to do this.
They are.
Yeah, so you should just be able to go to our public calendar on collaboration and just save it into your calendar. Everything will be populated, so.
Yeah, because the rule really tends to be if it's in someone's calendar, then people go, and if it's not, they don't. I mean, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, and I have the power to invite people from the official calendar, but I just have the calendar, you know, I subscribe to the calendar in my calendar, so I see it and I can turn it on and off as needed. But I do actually have a block on my work calendar for these meetings too, which is helpful. People don't book over it. So on that note, I guess I'll propose that we have an actual like ad hoc working session next week where we kind of do a bunch of things individually and kind of as a group. And then the following working session, we work on the funding model related stuff.
That's good. Let's do that.
Yeah.
There's an issue we need to update for this, right?
Yep. If someone wants to do it, that would be great. At the top of the issues list, it should be pinned.
I'll do that.
Thank you, Toby.
Mhm.
And welcome, Kylie.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. Well, that's great. That felt good.
Mhm.
Where's my list again? Okay, so moving on. And let me actually just make a note here. Next week's working session.
Wait. There's actually something in the next week's working session, which is build stronger ties between at-large maintainers and their CPC rep.
Okay.
Should we move that?
I feel like the other two are higher priority at the moment, but I don't know. That's an important one too, but I don't know.
I think the other two are higher priority, unless people feel strongly about the.
That works for me. I'll move that after the other ones.
Okay. I'm just making a note here on next week's session and today's meeting notes here. Okay. What's that? Session on funding. Great. Cool. So the next item on the agenda is OpenJS World 2023 planning. I know, Robin, you mentioned that we have a meeting on Thursday. Anything more we want to say on this issue?
I met with the event team yesterday. They've just laid out a couple of options we need to work through, and we just need to make sure, just evaluate which option works best for us. So we'll go through that.
Great. I'll just add program committee. Cool. Is this one? I feel like I saw in Slack that this one is closed. Yep, the CPC at-large voting member election is closed. I'm guessing the member selection is also, nope, this one's still open. Updates are all recorded and changes are in progress for the OpenJS website governance page.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll leave this open until that's complete.
Sure.
Okay. Great. Thanks for that comment there, Robin. That's helpful.
Yeah, we realized there were some updates on WordPress where we lost all of our plugins. So we keep discovering, little breaking, blocking issues. So.
Okay. Good luck. Websites. And I think this one was maybe close to the Grace Hopper one, but do you have a comment on this at all, Robin?
I put in links to the blogs where we did a wrap up. Rich and team, I know, have been following up with some folks. I have a lot of folks to follow up with as well. Rich, do you have anything to add?
Nothing to add to that. Well, I can always speak extemporaneously and not provide a lot of information, but we've had 2 or 3 people that between Danielle and me that we've been following up with and trying to help them stay engaged and get more engaged. So we'll see how that all pans out. But everyone's been great so far.
Right.
Yeah.
Just adding these links, kind of just having have that comment in the meeting minutes.
Mhm.
So that's all there. Great.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the hard part, and when you said getting people engaged and staying engaged, it's really hard. I think everyone knows how to use our tools. I had, written in my blog, but they just don't know how to participate and contribute. A lot of women thought, oh, you just show up with hundreds of lines of code and solving a big problem. No, so we haven't quite figured out that on-ramp completely yet. So definitely work to do.
Great.
Mhm.
Cool. All right, moving on. The next item is focus on security, JavaScript security at OpenJS. I feel like we can close this now. I opened up the repo. We've had a handful of meetings. The last two items on the checklist, that a comment that Robin has here is recruit more champions and bring in some security experts, and that's happening. We're working on that. So I feel like we can probably close this unless anyone has any objections.
Do you want to put a link to your new security collab space?
It's not mine, but sure. It's all
The
of
one ours.
Sure. Let me grab this. It's here in case folks want it in the chat. Basically it's just a readme right now, but I'll start bringing things over as issues from the conversations we've been having. New repo. There we go. And I will just close this. Okay, close with comment. Moving on. So the next one is license check support tooling.
Yes, I have a meeting on Friday with the team who met with Jordan earlier from LFIT. If anyone is interested, Michael Dawson, if you're interested in attending, I was going to see if Jordan wanted to come. It's 10 a.m. Pacific. Otherwise, I can kind of report back, but they were part of that initial meeting. And they said OpenSSF is also interested in something similar. So
what day is that?
this Friday.
Yeah, if you can give me an invite, I can probably make it.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Great. So I'll just say meeting happening soon. Okay. Clarify requirements around COC violation. This is issue 786. Toby, is this one of the ones that's on your plate? Is that right? Yeah. Next steps.
Yes, it's one that we're actually going to address in the session next week.
Fantastic. I look forward to that. Yeah. Cool. Then we will move on to the last one, which was the recent one about Slack Inviter, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, Robin, you've got a ticket open. Is that all we think?
Yeah, I opened a ticket yesterday. They've given me instructions on how to reissue one. It came in the last hour during the meeting, so I will fix that.
Okay, cool.
So thanks everyone for flagging. Yep.
Okay. Let's see, Toby. Session, and then
should we stop using community inviter as Slack now has, or will you create it with community inviter or the one from Slack itself? Robin?
There's two ways to join. Hold on, what did Johnson say?
Yeah,
I think
I'm thinking.
I think I have the ability to make changes. let me take a look on and to see what options I have when I make any changes.
Okay, Rich, you have your hand up?
Mhm.
Yeah, so just to clarify, so there on the website, there are 2 ways listed to,
Mhm, right,
yeah, and I don't think community inviter works anymore. And so I think that's why Walid is suggesting we can probably just
oh,
remove that.
got it, okay, we can just fill it, that's an easy edit on our website.
Yeah, and then just have the one working link. But right now we have 2 ways to join, and I think neither
Yeah.
work. And I
Great.
think that's what Walid was getting at. Is that more or less what you were trying to
Yeah,
say?
yeah. I was like, yeah, fix one and only keep one. We can remove the other one which doesn't work. I think community inviter came in because at that time Slack didn't support to add people publicly,
Okay.
and now they do. So we.
But
We'll make that edit on the
philosophically,
website. Mhm.
philosophically, you can usually do, things multiple ways in JavaScript. So I think we should have as many ways to join Slack as possible.
I'm going to send Python people to your house.
Sorry. Cool. One way is great. One working way is all we need. Cool. That is the end of our agenda. We've already talked about the next working session. I'll just look at our dates and reminders doc here. And I don't see anything coming up there. No issues with the quarterly review label, I'm guessing, but let me look. CPC board seat term limits, build stronger ties with at-large maintainers and their CPC rep, and provide implementation guidance for DCO and CLA. Those all have that label there. But I don't know if there's anything to talk about on any of those. Drop that link there. Should we call it a wrap? Is there anything folks want to do in private session? I wouldn't mind the time back, but I'm open to getting some things done.
Maybe we can end the stream and have that conversation.
That sounds good. Thanks, streamers.